welcome to the Stony Brook Sports Report. I'm Carl Reuter, joined by the women's basketball coach here, the head coach at Stony Brook, Michelle Cherry. And Michelle, let's talk a little bit about this season and all that, and a couple of more conference wins than a year ago, including at one point in time this year, 3 in a row. So the team had been playing well there.
Yeah, I think we hit a favorable stretch of our schedule as well. So, we gained some confidence from that. It's still a very young team. We don't have any seniors on the team. At times I look out there and we've got 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen on the floor, and that can be scary sometimes for a coach. But, hopefully the experience that we get, from this season will carry into next season, and it'll only help us down the road. But unfortunately, you have to go through some of those growing pains now.
As scary as it might be when you say that you have a young team on the floor, that's got to be very promising for the next year or two and beyond that, because you'll bring in even younger guys, younger women,
yeah.
And then these people that are freshmen and sophomores, they get older, so the future really looks bright.
Future looks bright. These guys are getting a lot of playing time early, and we've seen that improvement, especially with our sophomores who played a lot last year. So those guys have really stepped up and are playing much better, especially as the season has gone on. And, part of the problem I think we had early on is we had a very difficult schedule. And with a young team, it's that difficult schedule, I think, came back to get us a little bit. It's, we played on the road some tough games, going to Penn State and Michigan State. But we had some tough opponents just all the way around in that non-conference schedule. So, that in some ways is good because it helps get you tougher, ready for conference. But at the same time, you want to win some of those games too. And it's only going to help us, though, like you said, down the stretch in the long run.
I think the important factor would be, though, as long as your young women are playing hard, you can accept it. You don't like to lose, but as long as they're playing hard and they understand what they need to do, you can accept that.
For the most part, we've played very hard, and our defense has been pretty good. We do have stretches like a lot of young teams do where you don't finish games, and we should have it's shoulda, woulda, coulda, but we should have a couple more wins under our belt. But we let up at end of games and we didn't finish the game out. So that's part of the learning experience, and all those things you practice. You hope that we can get them in when we get to game time, but sometimes teams revert back to being a young team. So I'm pretty pleased with our team and definitely with the effort.
As a coach, Michelle, do you have to bring down your coaching strategy abilities just down a little bit because they are young, and perhaps you need to really be teaching more so at this point?
Most definitely, yeah. I was talking about that not long ago. We had to cut our playbook from where it was, a few years ago when we had Mykema Ford and Jessica Smith, Dana Ferraro, all those kids. Our playbook is about half of what it was when we had those guys. Different plays too, but about half as many because, young team, you just don't want to throw so much at them, especially, with young point guard, So if you have a senior point guard, I think you can do a little bit more as far as quantity. But we've tried to make things, a little minimal as far as the number of things we do.
All right, let's talk about a pair of super sophomores. First, talk about Misha Horsey and what she's done, and then we'll get to Kirsten Jeter after that.
Yeah, Misha's had, she's had a really good season. I think she's improved a lot. There's been a lot of pressure on her because she's had to play a lot of minutes for us because she's the point guard and she's the captain of the ship on the floor. So, she had a great off-season last year, and she came in this season and has played great for us. She hit the wall a little bit in February, just a little bit of a struggle there. Her numbers were down a little bit, but, Misha plays hard every day, and she's really a pleasure to have around, easy to coach.
What about Kirsten Jeter? Now, here's a gal locally from Elmont here on Long Island, from Elmont High School. Has she come in and done exactly what you thought she could do when she was recruited?
Oh, absolutely. She's just got this toughness and this grittiness that every coach loves. And, she plays hard all the time. And, whether it's practice or a game, she gives everything she's got. And, you love having kids like that around. She's improved her game from last year, which, you would have expected. She's expanded her range, and I think she's just going to continue to do that. So, we run a lot of stuff. Everything pretty much goes through her. So, there's a lot of pressure on her, too. And she's really stepped up. She's, been in, I think in our conference games this year, she's been in pretty much top 5 all season in just about every offensive category, and as well as rebounding. So she's right up there with the best players in our conference.
How much does this help her as you look ahead to her junior and senior year, that she's had so much thrown at her as a freshman and sophomore? How much can that only help her in the next 2 years here at Stony Brook?
Yeah, honestly, I think it'll make the next couple of years easier for her. She's kind of been there, done that. Nothing's going to be a surprise to her. She's had to be a team leader. She's a team captain as a sophomore. She's had all the pressure in the world on her because she's the one that has to perform. She knows that she doesn't get a night off. She's got to be good every night. And in order for us to be successful, so it's kind of been there, done that. I think moving forward for her. So I think it'll only help her, and just that experience too that she's gaining from all this.
You talk about the youth on this team, and you were hurt this year because of youth. With Jody Plikus as another sophomore, has a great shooting eye, but she's missed a lot of time because of vertigo. How has that really affected the team? And more importantly, how has it affected Jody's play?
You know, it's affected the team in that we didn't have Jody the whole first half of the season, so we didn't have her at all during our non-conference games. In addition, a lot of things that we wanted to run were really geared towards Kirsten and Jody. And without Jody on the floor, that takes away some of the things you want to do offensively. You know, it's helped having her back, obviously, because when she came back and started playing a little bit more, that's when we went on a little winning streak there. But at the same time, it's really tough on her, and you really have to monitor her minute to minute. I know our trainers keep a really close eye on her as well as our coaching staff. You know, it's been something that she's struggled with throughout the season. You know, she's limited in what she can do in practice. And like I said, it's minute to minute with her. You can see her eyes start to dilate, or her pupils dilate right in front of you, and you know that all of a sudden she's going to get that glaze and she's going to have that bout of vertigo. And other days, for whatever reason, she doesn't get it. So it's really minute to minute, and even throughout a game, you just got to keep an eye on her throughout a game. So it's really, again, minute to minute with her. But I admire the way she's battled through it. Probably for her game personally, it's affected her conditioning probably more than anything, because she has to be so limited in practice. But she's a warrior. She's a tough kid, and she gets out there and tries to get it done. So it's definitely given our team a boost.
Speaking about being a warrior, how about your center, Sarah Kazadi? A lot of blocks this year, 44 as we speak right now. Also leads the team in rebounds. What has she done there in the 5-hole for you?
You know what she's done for us is, a lot of people thought that we were really going to miss Dana for our rebounding. We knew we'd miss Dana for a lot of reasons, but her rebounding is what everybody thought we'd really miss the most. But Sarah's really stepped in and filled that void. Dana gave us a little more scoring than Sarah, but the rebounding aspect, Sarah's really picked it up. And consistently, we've been one of the better rebounding teams in the conference throughout the season. So she's a big reason for that. So I'm really pleased with that from her.
And just to maybe reiterate the young team that you have, talk about the maturity and how far they've come, where we are right now in the season.
They've come a long ways from day one, that's for sure. It's still a learning process every day with them. But I think they're a lot smarter team now than, better team too, but a smarter team than we were early on. And if you look at our sophomores from last year to this year, they've definitely gotten smarter from basketball IQ-wise. So I think, like you mentioned earlier, it's a lot of teaching. So we've done a lot of teaching with them this year, and I think they've picked up on a lot. And you feel a little more comfortable going forward, knowing that they know what to do now. So I'm really happy with the progress they've made.
Michelle Cherry, it's always fun to talk Stony Brook women's hoops with you. I thank you so much for your time and coming over here. I appreciate it, and we'll see you again next time.
All right. Thanks, Carl.
All right, that's Michelle Cherry. She's the head basketball coach, the women's basketball coach here at Stony Brook. That'll wrap up this edition of the Stony Brook Sports Report. We'll see you all again next time.